Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 27 of Satellite 664. I'm one of your co-hosts, Kaz Tagyan, and as always, I'm joined by Mr. Steve Loopy Newhouse. And making his debut on the show, we'd like to welcome Mr. Paul Lindop, moderator of the Iron Maiden fan club. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Good evening.
Come on, you irons.
Now, there's a bit of
Didn't say that last night.
Yes. Now there might be a bit of
quietly.
There might be a bit of tension. Might be a little bit of tension because what was the result last night? West Ham and Arsenal.
2-0 to the Gunners.
Yeah, it's a football rivalry on Satellite 664. But anyway, look, we've been away for quite a while, and we're back now. And how's everyone going?
Cool, good, thank you. Yes, yeah.
Good. Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge getting this show up. We've been doing the show for 2.5 years, and I have never experienced this many technical glitches, getting a show up and running. So fingers crossed it'll all run smoothly for the remainder of the recording.
Yeah, basically, everybody, if my picture disappears at any time, I will be back. I just don't know when. I thought I'd throw that in there now.
It's very cryptic there. All right.
Well, you should be able to hear me. You just won't be able to see me.
But you're the full package, Loopy. We need to see and hear you. Otherwise,
don't tell me about full. I'm stuffed. I had steak and chips for dinner. I'm definitely full.
It's a lot of cholesterol intake there, mate. Steak and chips.
Now, steak, there's plenty of iron, so I've got that going for me.
Anyway, look, what are we talking about today? We felt last episode, or the episode before it, we did a very brief, really, really brief, rundown on Senjutsu. It's probably the biggest thing that's happened in the Iron Maiden world for a few years, and we thought we'd come back and actually revisit it a bit more with Paul. But Paul, I want to welcome you to the show by introducing you. You've got quite a fascinating history. You've got a very long history with the band.
Yeah, as a fan, yeah.
Yeah, as a fan, of course. So what I'd like you to do is just tell us a little bit about when you became a fan, when your first show was, and because you've seen some incredible tours, and then could you maybe tell us a little bit about your role as moderator of the Iron Maiden fan club and what that involves? What are the challenges of that? And so you've got the floor, mate.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I first got into the band I think it was the summer of '80. An elder cousin of mine introduced me to them because I was sort of trying to learn and play a guitar at the time. And I was around his house one day and he said, "Oh, you like guitar, have a listen to this." And he played me Phantom of the Opera. That was it. Hooked. I was 9 at the time. And I was mainly into sort of the Police and new wave stuff then, and the Beatles and Elvis through my parents. But yeah, that was it. It was sort of, okay, save your pocket money up, go out and buy the album. They were doing a tour, I think, in about the November time. I think it was when they introduced Adrian, and I was deemed not old enough to go to that. But funny enough, the following March, being a 10-year-old, I was allowed. So yeah, went a few miles down the road to Bracknell Leisure Centre on the Killers tour with my cousin again. And that was really it, that's it. From then it was Maiden, so it was 82, 83, 84, 86 at Hammersmith. So all those tours as a youngster, brilliant. The memories from seeing those shows back in the day and then seeing them again later, it's sort of everything all comes back. But those original shows from 82 to 88 at Hammersmith were superb. Donington 88 was another highlight. first ever Monsters of Rock I went to. Went with a guy from work who was a big rock metal fan. He'd been before, he was older than me. I think I was 17 then, travelled up on the train, paid on the door, and then got home, I think, at 10 a.m. on the Sunday morning without any sleep. Seeing probably one of the best outdoor shows I think I've ever seen in my life. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, superb. I've seen Maiden at Donington every time apart from the Book of Souls one, and I think that's the best they've ever played. Yeah, superb.
Yeah, funny, interesting you say that. Keith Wilfort, we had him on a
Yeah, good
few
friend of
shows
mine.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few shows ago, and I think he mentioned his all-time favourite show was Donington '88.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, superb. Yeah, yeah. I think like I said, I've missed one at Donington, which was 2016. Yeah, didn't go to that one. Hopefully, go next year if it's still on. Fingers crossed. I think I've missed one tour, which was Ed Hunter, because they didn't play the UK. Didn't really have the money at the time to travel to
Paul,
Europe.
have you actually been abroad to see them, or is it just UK?
No, Wales. That's it. All UK, yeah.
Still abroad, isn't it? You just don't need a passport, but yeah.
Yeah. No, all UK shows. I've never seen them outside of the UK. No, I'd like to, but back in the day, it was just didn't have the money to do it. And travel and this, that, and the other. So it's on my bucket list.
To be honest, Paul, you didn't really need to when you had an entire week's shows at Hammersmith in '86, or 4 shows back to back in '84. You didn't really need to travel anywhere. I mean, they're right there. And
what if you want more? What if you want to go and see more?
Let's go to Birmingham.
6 ain't enough.
Go to Birmingham.
Yeah, I've done that. I did that a few times actually. I did London, Birmingham. Yeah.
That's the thing. You guys were very lucky because in the UK, you had 20, 25 shows on each of those tours, and the distances are so close to each other. And if you really wanted to, you could scoot off an hour away to Paris.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we saw we had the World Slavery Tour here in '85. Then we had to wait 7 years to see the band. So it's you guys are very.
How long have you had to wait this time, Kaz?
What do you mean?
Well, when was the last time they played?
2019.
What, in Australia?
Australia.
Oh, sorry. No. So it went 82, 85, 92, then 2008. So there was a 16-year hiatus. Then 2011, 2016, and that was it. That was the last time.
That's 5 years.
5 years, yeah. So an Australian passport came very handy after a while because it, allowed me to get to some shows overseas. But yeah, it's the tyranny of distance. But also to logistically, it's not a. I mean, it's one of their B markets. They're not really going to make a lot of money coming down here, and that's why they don't tour here all that often. So, but that's okay. It means I got to get to travel the world a little bit, when the world was normal. So, yeah. All right, Paul. Paul, tell us about how you got involved with the fan club and your role as the moderator.
I was first asked back in 2016 if I would like the opportunity to do it. I've been a member of the fan club since the early 80s and on the forum when it first started. But because of reasons to do with touring and there's something to do with management during that period when I got asked, I didn't actually start doing it till the new forum started in 2019. So it was nearly 3 years from when I was first asked. But yeah, I didn't refuse. I said, as soon as they asked me, I said, yeah, I'll do it. So it was a combination of management and Laz. Uh, that was how it all started. Yeah.
Terrific. And tell us a little bit about the day-to-day workings of the Iron Maiden online fan club.
Well, it's it's quite hard to describe really because obviously as well, I'm a fan like everybody else on there. So you've got to look at it. Okay, you're a moderator, but you've got to look at it as from a fan's point of view as well. Because, like I said, I'm a fan as well. We all are. We're not. No one I don't think who's on there doing anything moderating or admin is not a fan of the band. So you've got to be objective to what people are saying and doing, and sometimes the written word comes across differently than the spoken word.
Absolutely.
On there. So someone could actually say something and you could interpret it a different way to what they actually mean. So if circumstances arise and there's something we think we need to deal with or look at, we as a group have a conflab and chat about it and decide the best way forward on handling the not situation but the post or thread or something like that. It's people think it's impartial, personal. It's not. It's we do talk about it, as I said, and we make a decision, a democratic decision. It's not ad hoc. We don't just go right. I'm having enough of that. I'm getting rid of that, or I'm sending this person a message to edit or delete their post. It's everything's done democratically. So
Paul,
I know people. Sorry,
how far do people have to go to push your buttons?
Sometimes not too far. There is a as they call it, a code of conduct and an FAQ to what you can and can't do. So people should really be reading that and remembering that, like posting pictures.
That's what the rules and regulations are for.
Yeah, posting pictures
we
of
make a
information.
point that it's on Airliners Live, so I understand.
Yeah. So I was going to say, like posting pictures or posting information about band members' families or hotels where they're staying or these personal details. No, big no. That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, quite right.
I hate that.
I think the difference being is that where I'm dealing with airliners, it's live chat on YouTube, whereas you've got a little while because it's a forum. You've got a couple of days or a couple of hours, whatever, to chew it over and then make a decision. Whereas our decisions have to be, there and then.
Yeah, the good thing is because there's four of us moderating. We're all in different parts of the world, so we're all sort of covering each time zone. So
that's good planning. I mean, what's that plan? Yeah. Or
I don't know because there's two of us based in the UK. One guy, Tim, is based in America, and we've now got Polina on board.
Polina, my good friend Polina.
Yeah.
Hi, Polina.
Yeah, she says hi. She says hi, by the way.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah, hi, Polina.
Yeah,
we love her.
She's now on board on a sort of trial basis, but don't tell her I said this. She's doing a good job.
She watches the show, though, mate. Just as
I know. That's why I said it. She owes me a tenner now. but yeah, so you can't actually moderate every single post in every single thread. So that's why people are encouraged to, if something comes up that they feel is controversial, something, a post gets flagged, and then we deal with it from the moderation point of view. Obviously, we don't just do it between the four of us. We include Alex as well, who runs a fan club, and if need be, the guys at Phantom Office. Sometimes it rarely gets to that level, but
Paul, one important issue that I want to clarify with you, and I know you and I have spoken about this previously off air, together privately,
Yeah.
but no, we were going to talk about this. There's a lot of angst, shall we say, about the box set, the Senjutsu box set.
Is
And
it? Is it? You sure?
well, and wrong,
Read it somewhere.
and there is a misconception. There is a misconception that the fan club are in charge of it and all that sort of stuff. So could you? This is the platform. This is the forum. Could you clarify how this all works and the underlying issue behind it?
I I know that obviously it was a fan club exclusive, so it was done through the fan club for fan club members only. Um, the only other things that I know are that it's being dealt with on a day-to-day basis by Phantom management, and it's being communicated to Alex at the fan club, and he is trying to update everybody with everything that's going on as it happens. Other than that, I know as much about it as you do. Um, I spoke to Alex, and he's sort of he's getting so many emails to do with this and trying to go through every one to answer everybody's queries and problems that he sort of I think when he started the fan club job, he didn't envisage that he was actually going to be like an administrator for a problem that's occurred, but it's being dealt with. I know people are getting a bit restless because obviously it was released in September and we're now December, but it is coming to a resolution very slowly. But I think that everything will hopefully be all sorted out and all be hunky dory at the end. But yeah,
Paul, do we know what's actually happened to the box? Why has it been delayed?
I it's something to do with. I know people have problems with the inlays. That there's been some problems with those. There's also been some problems with the actual box itself. So when it's been delivered, there's been some damage to the box itself.
Okay.
Um, to be honest, I try and steer clear of that because I don't really want to get embroiled in all the conversations because, like I said, I don't know what's going on day to day at Phantom and what's been communicated between them and the box suppliers and makers and Alex. So I think as a democratic decision, we tried to appease fans by saying you need to email this, you need to email this person or speak to this person because it's being dealt with at a higher level.
Mm.
Like I said, I know as much about the box manufacturing as you do.
Yep.
So it's I know it's frustrating, and it would be frustrating for me if my box had turned up like that. Thank God, touch wood, he didn't. But I would probably be in the same boat, even though I was a moderator. I would probably express my frustration at it all. And we get it still because I get it with merchandise. I've ordered 4 shirts from the shop in October. One has turned up so far,
Yeah.
and the communication from the people at I'm not going to mention their name, but the suppliers that send them out is not very good. But anyway,
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for clarifying that.
Well, it
All
ain't
right.
bravado anymore, is it?
no, it's not bravado or global as they're called now. It's the other people that have got the initials MG. So
Yeah. Who shall remain nameless? Bravado was in the 80s, though, wasn't it, Loopy? I mean,
yeah, it's still the same people. It's called Global Merch now.
Yeah, it's global now.
Oh, so
Yeah,
Bravado became global merch.
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah,
See the things we learn
yeah.
on this show, Loopy. Just
Yeah, Matty should have told you that.
Matt probably did tell me, but my attention span is pretty low,
Yeah.
so I forget a
Matt's
lot
So
of
probably
things.
got all the
how long are
bravado
you going to
shirts,
remember this
isn't
now,
Oh,
Gaz?
Matt's got everything, hey?
So how long are you going to remember this now? I've told you.
for prosperity,
Remember
because this is now recorded on film. I can go and watch it as many times as I want. All those views.
I think I mentioned to you before, Kaz, when we spoke.
Yep.
People think that because we're moderators, we get the inside story. We don't. Because I think I mentioned to you about the Belshazzar's feast.
Yes.
When all that kicked off online and all that lot, we knew nothing. Literally, we knew as much as everybody.
Didn't I turn around and say to you at the time, Kaz, when that first poster came out, and I spotted the 17 in Roman numerals, and I said then, 17th studio album.
You did. You absolutely, credit to you. You did.
Straight
You're
away.
probably one of the first people to figure it out. And Paul, this is why I wanted to. Paul, this is why I wanted to give you the opportunity to really flesh this out for us, because I want to take I want people to understand that, like you're saying, because you're a moderator, it doesn't mean you there's all-knowing, all-seeing being. So hopefully it'll take the pressure off guys like yourself and Tim and Polina and Alex, Jason, to not be, I guess, hassled unnecessarily.
It wasn't you don't being hassled.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah.
I missed that. What was it?
I said it also means that you don't get perks.
It was weird because obviously we were getting, I don't know, I can't speak for the others, but getting messages from people. What's going on? Well, I know as much as you do. And even my oldest son, who's a big Maiden fan, who comes to all these shows with me, he was actually following the stuff on Twitter and all this and that. And we tried our best to get information out of the guys, but they were so literally, no, don't know what you're talking about. We know nothing. No. So, as a fan, we were the same as everybody else on the forum. We knew nothing. We knew nothing about the writing on the wall video coming out until they sort of did that countdown. We knew nothing about the album being announced and launched on the website. Nothing at all. Literally, we were kept in the dark. And I don't know whether people actually know that. And it's sort of the only thing I did know that I can actually confess now was I knew that they were in the studio in 2019 recording the album. But I'm not going to tell you how I knew that. But I did know that, and I actually.
Well, there were a certain couple of pictures that turned up of Dave and Adrian in the what's the name of the place?
Guillaume Tell Studios in Paris.
Yeah.
The place where all the bones are. Whatever that's called.
The bones.
Yeah, it's all the skulls and whatever. I remember seeing a picture of Cod and Dave Murray in there many years ago.
I don't remember that. No. I actually, before all the photos, people saying, "Oh, we saw them in Paris," and photos coming out, I actually knew before that. But I can't say why and how I knew. But
that was very early 2019, wasn't it? It was sort of March, April 2019.
It was definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Anyway, good, and that's a perfect segue into really the topic du jour, which is the actual album. We just skimmed over it last time. We didn't really give it much.
I love the way you did that, Kaz.
What's that?
The segue. I loved it.
It's called signposting.
Going back to what Loopy said about perks, I did get a Belshazzar's Feast t-shirt though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Now, Loopy, you'll be happy.
An original.
Now, Loopy, you'll be very happy to know that with this Senjutsu, I've been very, very conservative and moderate in the amount of merchandise that I've purchased. So I've only purchased two versions of the CD, the European pressing and the Japanese pressing. You have to have the Japanese pressing. And I've only purchased 5 Senjutsu t-shirts. That's it.
I've got the CD.
That's it. So
I think I've got 3.
Yeah.
I've got the CD, the lenticular, and the FC box. Yeah.
So my collecting days are well and truly being wind down, Loopy. You'll be happy to hear that. I'll actually have enough money to
Yeah.
do some
Well,
grocery shopping.
until the next tour, of course, and you want every fucking poster that you can see.
No, no. Well, I need money for groceries and bills, so I've
Who's
to.
Bill?
Sorry,
Who's Bill?
Bill Barkley.
Bill Buckler. Look, 3.5 months on. We've had this album for 3.5 months on. I think at the start, some of us liked it, some of us were warming to it, some of us didn't know what to think of it. Now, 3.5 months on, we've all had a chance to listen to it multiple times. What's everyone's impression?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
How many? Go on, Loopy. How many times have you
I-
heard it? How many times have you heard it?
All the way through, I've actually heard it twice.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I've had a time, I was so busy doing other stuff, I just don't get a chance to do it.
Well, what do you think?
What now? I mean,
Yeah.
originally, I think I gave it 7 out of 10. I'm sort of bordering on 8 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I
I
would
think-
say. Sorry, go on, Bloopy. Sorry.
I was just going to say that having read the FC magazine, and there are a couple of times when Bruce turns around and says, you really do need to listen to it a few times. There's a couple of songs that will jump out at it, and yes, they do.
Yeah. This is.
And I think I need to hear it a little bit more than I have.
Yeah, this is a very unique album. Probably the most unique they've done in their career because in almost every other album, there were songs that were immediately very accessible, and particularly back in the 80s, you put the album on, it just jumped out of the speakers and it got you from start to finish. The first time we all heard Peace of Mind, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, it was the whole thing you just loved it straight away. Then obviously in the modern era, they've become a lot more progressive. The music's become a lot more complex, a lot more intricate, and therefore that accessibility isn't necessarily there. This album is even that on another level because the lyrical themes are quite complex. As I mentioned in the other show, the other episode, several of the songs are very melancholic, very sad in their tone. So it's certainly a very different experience to putting on Seventh Son of a Seventh Son for the first time 33 years ago. So I think that's why.
To me, it's the evolution.
Yeah, it is.
Of the band.
Absolutely.
If you go back to the debut, 1980,
yes,
to now, you can see. To me, I can definitely see and hear the evolution and the way it's changed, but the same. If you know what I mean.
Exactly, and that is a sign of a healthy, growing band. I mean, even though they've been around for 40 odd years, they're growing, they're progressing. And, to some people who say, well, I don't like the new album, I don't like what they've become, my answer is, look, these are not the same guys who recorded Somewhere in Time in 1986. I mean, yes, obviously they're the same personnel, but they've changed as people, they've evolved as people, they've matured as people, and musically they've also evolved and changed. You can't expect these guys to just churn out wasted years every album.
Right. I mean, plus the fact that there's a classic quote in the again referring to the magazine, classic quote from Harry when he's asked, why they don't write songs like Number of Beast, blah blah blah. And he says, because I don't think that way anymore.
Exactly.
Therefore, I don't write that way anymore.
Exactly. And look,
people need to go along with what they're doing now.
Exactly.
Not forget the past. But, put the past on one side and think about what they're doing now.
Exactly. I mean, look, in 1984, these guys were in their mid to late 20s. The metal scene at that time was all about escapism and fantasy, and they're the sort of albums we got. And we were kids back then, going into our teenage years, and that's what appealed to us. these guys are now in their 60s. They've got families. They've got, children. They've seen, good times and bad times. And, the music they're producing reflects that. It's a much more introspective, reflective vibe. And I think people need to understand that. So some of
Yeah,
the,
I also think it's, you think of, the evolution of the music.
yeah.
You also, you got to think of the evolution of yourself as well. You're not the
Yeah.
same as you were
No, that's right.
35, 40 years ago. You've evolved. You've changed. You're different. It's the same with music. It all changes. Because I always refer to from the debut album to Seventh Son. I've actually said it on the forum. I don't think any band ever can match that 7 album run.
No.
And I'm a big Beatles fan, and not even the Beatles could do that. That's 7 album span is probably the best by any band ever, in my opinion.
I agree. It was, we were sort of living through it. I discovered the band in '83, but still, it just, every album was just an upward trajectory, and 1988, it just hit a crescendo, didn't it? And
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
you sort of maintain that right into 1990, 92, and then sort of start to go, which we're going to do a whole episode on this, aren't we, Paul? So,
we are. We're going to do 92, 93,
yes,
aren't
we
we?
are. So Paul, tell me, 3.5 months on, tell me what you think of the album. Tell me what your highlights are.
Um, I actually think it's their best since A Matter of Life and Death.
Yeah, agreed.
Now,
Totally.
I do like Final Frontier. Um, Book of Souls, I would give that a 7 out of 10. There's a few songs on there that I like. I would say I'm overly enthusiastic over it, but it's that progression again, isn't it? That's what we said. But
Mm.
yeah, I think as they call it, the reunion era. I think A Matter of Life and Death is probably the best. Now this one's come along, I think this one is the best since that album. I'm not saying it is the best, but since A Matter of Life and Death. Um, Highlights for me, I would say at the moment, it just sort of changes though. Yeah, every time I hear it, I think, oh yeah, I think that one's a little bit better this time. Um, Title track, really like the title track. Um, Time Machine, definitely Celts.
Mm.
Parchment,
Parchment.
Hell on Earth. I when I first heard it, I kept playing Lost in a Lost World quite quite a lot. I really liked the intro and the outro to that. Seems to go on the back burner at the moment for me. Um, it's mainly those ones that I mentioned. Writing on the Wall, I really like as well. I think that's a great song.
Mm.
Stratego, good, good rocker. Um, Darkest Hour and Days of Future Past, I think, are probably the ones I least play. Not that I don't like them, but I just think the other songs are the better ones for me on that album.
Well, excellent. Yeah, it's interesting. Everybody's got a favourite. Everybody's got,
Everybody's
different
different, aren't
perspective.
they? Yeah.
See, whereas Darkest Hour for me is a huge highlight because it's reminiscent of Wasting Love, and the emotion in that song is
Yeah.
next level. And it's also quite a patriotic song as well. I mean, we'll get it into
Mm.
what it's about in a moment, but when Bruce sort of sings the words "the Sons of Albion," it is quite a sort of has patriotic undertones to it. I just
Yeah.
love Adrian's playing.
I think that could be a good live track.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
Actually, it's one of those ones where, um, like, yeah, I'm going to compare it to Talisman. Talisman on Final Frontier to me, is a very good song,
It is.
but live, it is superb. Love it live. If I play it, I play the live version from Endeavour. I just think it's so much better live, and I think Darkest Hour for me will probably be better live when or if they do play it on
Yeah,
on the
And
album at all. Yeah,
yeah, and some songs, in fact, do translate better to a live version. So, all right. So one thing we're going to do today is because this album uniquely is a very complex album, and the songs, are just so profound in their meaning. We're actually going to do an analysis on the Iron Maiden forum, the fan club forum.
yeah,
There's a thread. There's a particular thread called Senjutsu Song Meanings,
yeah,
and it is probably the most perfect resource for understanding what some of these songs are about. So we're
yeah.
going to go
I've, got-
through
I have
most of
put
the.
the glasses on now,
Yes, actually, I will too. Because I've got to go
so I
through.
can
I'll
read some of this.
read some of this as well. Because, as I said, when we all heard Power Slave back in the day, the songs were very self-evident. Okay,
Yeah,
but as the bands become more complex in their music, the songs have become a lot more layered and cryptic. So we're going to go through not every song because some of the a couple of the songs are pretty obvious. I mean, we don't really need to analyze Hell on Earth, too deeply. It's pretty obvious.
yeah, yeah,
But some of these songs are really interesting. So we're going to go through the main ones, and the title track Senjutsu, and this is obviously, has a very strong Japanese theme. It's set in ancient Japan, and the way Bruce starts the song is referring to is it beat the warning, the sound of the drums, and that is basically about the Mongol invasion. That's how the Mongol armies used to sort of communicate to their enemies that they were about to attack. And the reference to a wall in this song is actually it's called the Genko Barui Wall in Japan, and that's the wall that the samurai army, the Japanese samurai, established to repel the Mongol attack in 1274, and it, I guess, lends to the title Senjutsu, which actually means, strategy of war, loosely.
yeah,
And that was a very unique sort of battle strategy that the Japanese samurai established, the wall. So it's once again Iron Maiden teaching us history as they have done throughout their career. And I just love this opener. It's majestic. Nico's drumming almost recreates that Mongol war cry. So
yeah.
it's a great one for me. Paul Stratego.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think we're both using the same notes that we got here from the forum because
Yeah, we are absolutely.
it's yeah. The one I've got here, I kind of see it as a burden on the soul of someone who's led a life and planning and strategizing war. But sort of going deeper into that, um, I've done my research, and someone someone else seems to feel, and if you read the lyrics, yeah, it kind of echoes it. It tells the story of a warrior in their last moments and their cry for closure. So, yeah, you could read different things into it. When you read the lyrics, it's down to your own interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we know that Stratego was a board game.
that's right.
Yeah, but when you read people's interpretations, yeah, you can see both sides. When you see one story and another story, they sort of do mix and go with the lyrics of the song. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, I interpret Stratego as very much getting into the mind, the psychology of war. I mean, the first two
exactly.
tracks,
Yeah,
yeah, the first two songs on this album really do, and even a couple of other songs which we'll get to, they do talk about the psychology, the mental state behind war and strategy of war. Which really also does harken back to what they've done in the past, just on a more complex basis.
yeah, yeah,
The writing on the wall. So we get into religious themes, which again Maiden always do, and this is about Belshazzar's feast, based on the Old Testament, the book of Daniel, chapter 5, verses 1
Yeah.
to 31. Now, Loopy, this is something you would have been very well versed in from your Sunday school days back in the East End, I would think.
Sunday school. Do you know what? My mum sent me to Sunday school once, and after about 10 minutes, I walked home. I was about 8. No, probably not even that. I was about 6. I'm not having none of this.
What was it? Why? What happened? What?
Talking about, when you got someone there trying to preach to you that there's, there's this sort of man that lives in the clouds and all that sort of crap, and it's like, it's not true. All right, everybody believes what they want to believe, but I didn't believe in it, and therefore I wasn't going to stand for it, so I went home.
What did your mum say when you went home?
Go home early, darling.
Not my God, then.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
Interesting.
Neither of my parents were that religious, so why pack me off to Sunday school unless they wanted a bit of nookie on a Sunday morning? I don't know.
I'm just going to talk about the book of Daniel now. Oh God, the directions this show goes in sometimes. So look, Bruce has spoken extensively about Belshazzar. So in short, Belshazzar was a king who was a bit of an asshole, a very impious, and he disrespected the temple because he raided the temple in Jerusalem, stole all the sort of the artwork and the vessels, and they were at a drunken feast one night, and he brought out all the looted uh, uh, vessels. They all drank, got pissed, and a hand appeared. A hand appeared and started to write on the wall, but nobody could decipher this writing. So Belshazzar's wife suggested that they bring in the prophet Daniel, and Daniel was able to interpret this writing as basically a warning of Belshazzar's demise as a king, and simply because of his impiety. And that in fact happened. Belshazzar had a very, he experienced his downfall, and all of his kingdom was given to the Persians, the Medians, the Persians. So and that's how the saying that in colloquial language, the writing on the wall came about. Really is based on that hand that appeared in the feast and started writing a cryptic message on the wall. So that's the writing on the wall.
Do you know about the WOTW that appeared on the tour poster the year before?
Yes, that's right. That was
Yeah,
Eddie coming out of the studio.
No, it was the from memory. It was sort of the recreation of the 2 minutes to midnight cover, something like that for the tour for
Yes,
2021
yes, correct.
for this year. I think it came out last year, advertising this year's
That's
dates.
right.
And on the wall was the WOTW, and people it sort of got dismissed kind of on the forum. And I'm going to confess this, that I actually, when I saw it, thought, oh, writing on the wall. Didn't think anything of it.
That picture of Eddie there,
Yeah.
is that the one you're talking about?
No, it was actually on the actual Iron Maiden web page.
That's
when they
on
announced,
the
that's in the
WOTW is actually written on the wall behind you on there.
Yeah. It was on the tour advertisement poster, and that's when it first appeared. And I think it was done by mistake or whatever. But I actually thought to myself, oh yeah, writing on the wall. Didn't think anything of it.
Okay.
Yeah. But going back to the writing on the wall song, there is a mix of the Book of Genesis in there as well, because you've got Adam and Eve, and you've got the Book of Revelation with the four horsemen.
Mm.
So there is, like you said, there is that religious undertone through the song. Obviously, with the Book of Daniel was the main one, but also you've got the Adam and Eve and the four horsemen as well, which we've built into the video. I don't think it's to do with the actual the meaning of the song. It was just a good idea to build those religious aspects into the video as
Yeah,
well.
and they've always done this. They've always, it's probably since the third album, where with Hallowed Be Thy Name, they've always pretty much done this. You know, they've explored religion. They've explored, the Bible. They've explored all sort of various spiritual themes. It's something that Iron Maiden do, and they do it very, very, very well. I mean, we
Yeah,
know we
yeah.
know we know Nico's a practicing Christian, and I don't know about the other guys, but they do it really well. They do it really, really well. All right, next up, Lost in a Lost World. Paul, tell us about Lost in a Lost World.
Lost in a Lost World. Well, the interpretation that I found, whether this is right or not, is the extermination of the Native American culture, similar to Run to the Hills, but with much more pain and wisdom. Now, I don't really see that in the lyrics at all. Or doesn't come through to me in the lyrics.
I don't
So
see it either.
I did some more research. No, I did some more research, and, and this is what it's. The lyrics deal with the extermination of the Native American population. The piece is sung from the natives' point of view, even if it is the starting point from which perspective the themes of the song are introduced. The track also deals with the themes of the remembrance of the past and the survival of one culture throughout common memory and history.
Yeah, that theme does come through quite strongly on that song. I think it's a beautiful song. I know some people don't like it.
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah,
I love
yeah,
the ending. I love that, and this is what Steve Harris does so well, time and again. He's able to create in some of these outros that he does really nice mood
yeah.
with the music. I just love this song. So right, Days of Future Past is. I can't figure this song out. I really can't figure this song out. So the two varied opinions on this is that I mean Bruce originally says it's based on Keanu Reeves's movie Constantine. Okay,
Mm.
and there's also a TV series called Constantine, which I've never watched before, but it's about some bloke with magic powers and he exorcises demons and all this sort of stuff. But you read the lyrics and they are very quite strong overtones of the fall of Lucifer.
Yeah, I've picked that up as well. Yeah, yeah.
Have you got the
I know
lyrics?
Bruce has been on record actually to say it's based on Constantine, hasn't he? He's
Yeah,
actually said it
absolutely.
on record. But like you're saying, it could be about the fall of Lucifer. Yeah,
Yeah,
which we've had before with like the Lord of Light, haven't we?
Lord of Light. Yes, of course. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
really good dynamics on this song. I love the verses. I love the verse. It's probably a more quicker, straightforward song than the rest of them. So
it's a to me a typical Adrian Bruce song.
yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you. Now,
yeah.
Paul, my least favorite song in the album, "The Time Machine." Could you?
No,
And I'm sorry.
no,
I
I'm not
apologize.
going to happen.
Look, this might stretch the friendship a little bit, I know, but I don't know, mate. This song, it takes 3 minutes to really get into it. When they do get into it after the third minute, it is good and there's a real edge to it. Talk to me about this song. Tell me why you like it. Tell me what you think it's about.
Simple answers. The time machine, isn't it? It's literally, yeah, yeah. It's not like Caught Somewhere in Time. Where Caught Somewhere in Time is someone offering someone the chance to travel in time, but to do it, they've got to give them their soul, haven't they? That's the basis of that song. Where this one is actually someone who's saying, to me, the way I interpret, I've got a time machine. This is what I've done. I can tell you stories of things that I've done, things that I've seen. I've been to the past, I've been to the future. I've seen this, I've seen that. It's someone relaying a story and sort of begging someone to listen to them. You know, what is it? I've seen God's.
Paul,
There's how much I've listened to it now.
Do you think it's autobiographical? Because it's almost like Steve Harris looking back on his career and his life and relating all the things that he's seen and done.
It could be in a cryptic way, couldn't it? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. You know, I've lived a long life. I've seen the world. I could tell you stories. Hair will stand on end.
That's it.
Yeah. I've seen the gods cry, howling in the wind.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the way I interpret it is it's literally someone who's just right. Sit down. I've got to tell you a story. I've got this time machine. This is what I've seen. This is what I've done. That's my interpretation of it. I might be right. I might be wrong.
No. It's about perspective. Everybody interprets these things very differently. So, Lippy, if you could travel in time, where would you go? When would you go to?
Ooh. I think I'll go back to Roman times.
Roman times. Oh, I was expecting you to say the Killers tour.
No, I don't want to go through that again. After everything I went through with Clive, why would I want to do that again?
Oh, of course. I forgot about that. Yes, let's.
I'd go back to the 1980 FA Cup final and trip Trevor Brooking up just before he scores on it.
I'll tell you that, this is sort of add something to that, Paul. If you can imagine, right, there's me, Clive, Steve, and Dennis, all at Dennis's house. He was cooking a curry, and we're all having a few beers. And when Brookings scored, everybody's gone, yay! And there was fucking lines of lager all over his ceiling. His missus came in going, what the fucking hell was that? Yeah, it's funny. It was funny.
I think a bit of trivia on that. Wasn't that the last time a team outside the top division won the FA Cup?
Didn't Brighton do it as well? We read that. Or was Brighton in the Premier League?
Brighton lost to United in the final, didn't they, in 80?
No, wasn't it Portsmouth?
Portsmouth. I thought they were Premier League then when they won it.
Oh, they might have been.
There you go. Just gone off
you might be
tangent.
right.
There you go.
Carry on.
Yeah. Imagine if we had Steve Harris on this show talking about football.
You should get him on.
Imagine that.
We need to keep Paul on here.
Sorry?
We need to keep Paul on here.
No, Paul's going to be a regular. Paul's appearance already has eclipsed anything you and I have ever done, Loopy, to be honest. So it's great.
He's done research.
He's done his research, exactly. We just get on here and talk shit.
I know nothing, Paul. I know nothing.
The closest I've ever been is doing Heaven Can Wait, but there you go.
Yes.
Can you even do that?
Oh, we'll talk about that. Don't worry. That's going to be a special show. It's going to be a special show.
That's for another time.
Yeah, I did Heaven Can. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that another time. Darkest Hour. It's about Churchill's stand in World War II, and it also gives a bit of insight into Churchill as a person as well. I mean, he talks about having the black dog, depression. I mean, I didn't know this, but Winston Churchill suffered from severe depression. He had all the symptoms. He'd sort of lose interest in pleasurable activities. In addition to low mood, he had sleeping issues, all kinds of things. But he also was quite manic at times. So there's speculation he actually had bipolar disorder. But this song is loosely about the 2017 movie about Churchill, The Darkest Hour, and funnily enough, that movie also has that famous speech that we all heard back in 1984-85 before the show, before Aces High came on. Which
1940, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was 1940. It was 1940. So
it's a great film. It's a great film.
Yeah, but I haven't
watched it yet. I've still got it on my Sky planner to watch. Mate.
I've not seen this album, so I've not seen that movie. But this is probably one of the more poignant, moody really sad songs on the album. I don't know whether that was intended that way, but Bruce's Emotion is really good, really powerful. As I said, it's also quite patriotic with some of the lyrics. Anytime Bruce uses the word Albion, he's talking very affectionately about England. So
Yeah.
a great song. I know you don't like it as much as I do, Paul, but I love this song. All right,
I
what's
think it's
next?
going to be a grower for me. I think it's going to be a
A
grower.
grower. Yep.
It's yeah,
All right, what's next?
Death of the Celts, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Freedom.
Yeah. It's dare I say it? Klansman Part Two.
It is. It
Freedom.
really
Someone
is.
when I obviously I pre-ordered the album, um, and I downloaded the album on iTunes, so
Mm.
I got it sort of straight after midnight. That was one of the first tracks I went to, and someone did ask me before their album turned up, "What do you think of that song?" And I actually said, "To me, it's a cross between the Klansman and the Red and the Black." Um, whether I'm right or not, but that was my initial feeling. Yeah, it's obviously it's not the Klansman Part Two, but everybody seems to think it is.
Oh, look, it's definitely got. It definitely has a nod, a tip to the Klansman. I mean, it really does.
Yeah,
So it's I that comes across quite strongly. Look, it's pretty straightforward. It's about the end of the Celtic civilization, really. So now, Loopy, your
yeah,
favourite song, "The Parchment," and boy, is this probably the most talked about song on this album because so many people love this song. And there's also people who don't understand what all the fuss is about with this song. For me, this is the big grower. When I first heard it, I just didn't know what the fuss was about. But you listen to it once, twice, three times. By the fifth or sixth listen, this song is really special. It's a very well written Harris song. It's intricate. The playing is great. The vocals are great.
I mean,
The,
if I'm being honest with you, Kaz, to be perfectly honest, when I first heard it, um, lyrically, I've not heard. I don't listen to the words. 9 times out of 10, I listen to the music going on behind, and to me, it was so much like "Hallowed Be Thy Name." The build, that constant build.
mm,
You know, and that to me, that's why it stood out. And
yeah.
lyrically, I got no idea what the words are all
Well,
about. I
no,
couldn't tell you.
no one really does. But again, Iron Maiden fans are so good at doing research, and there's a couple of guys who have posted on the forum and actually done a lot of research. And um, I mean,
mm,
there was speculation that it was about the 2005 novel by Gerald McLaughlin called The Parchment. Then one of the posters, and I have to give credit because the research is great. One of the posters called Snatcher 42, whoever you are.
yeah. Seen that? Yeah,
Yeah, it's basically said that this song could be about a ancient Hellenistic king called Mithridates the Sixth, and he was the king of Pontus. So, Loopy, Pontus was what was modern day northern Turkey, which is part of ancient Greece.
I thought it was
And
a pilot.
who?
I thought it was a pilot.
No, 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 no.
I thought it was pilot. No, no.
No, if you get the map and you look at modern day Turkey, the northern part, which was part of the Hellenistic Empire. Again, history. We love Iron Maiden because they teach us a lot of
Wasn't
history.
that all part of the Byzantine Empire though? Was it? Are we talking before that?
No, we're talking before that. The Byzantine Empire was after 300 or 400 AD. This is BC. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
and this guy was an interesting character. He basically usurped his mother and brother had taken control of the throne. He decided to poison them, take over. He became a bit of a dictator, and he's depicted with leopard skin, which is what the song actually mentions about leopard skins and things like that.
Wow. It's a
And
time.
And another poster on the forum said that this could be about Nero, the life of Nero, which we don't know. So very, very interesting. And we don't really need to talk into too much detail, even though it's my favourite song on the album, and I'm going to say this probably one of the best Iron Maiden songs I've ever heard in 40 years, and that is Hell on Earth. What Harris produced is just the best thing, the best song I've ever heard, or one of the best songs I've ever heard. I really put this at the level of Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Yeah, yeah.
I love this song.
I think the last two songs, The Parchment and Hell
Yeah.
on Earth, I think that's kind of one of like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, where Steve's locked himself away for a couple of days
Mm.
and he's literally worked the songs out,
Yeah.
note for note, and gone through it all and gone back into the studio and says, right, this is it. This is this song.
Yeah.
This is that
Yeah.
song. Which I think he did for Mariner. I know Mariner was written when they were in Bahamas recording Power Slave, but I think this is one where he's literally taken a couple of days on each of these songs and nailed it. Yeah.
He really has. And again, it's one of the more melancholic, sadder songs on the album. It deals with, it's almost prophetic. It's almost like, I mean, this was written and recorded in early 2019 when life was wonderful. All of us were
Yeah.
living so-called normal lives. But it's almost prophetic because this song deals with loss. It deals with, it talks about, I guess, the world just turning into a complete and utter intolerable hellhole, and which is what happened for the last 2 years. So,
Yeah.
so it's strange, and Loopy, one of our mutual friends in the US, Rob Fester, he actually put up a really good post when the album came out. He almost said it's almost like the band saying goodbye to us, because it's. And I thought that was a really interesting comment because when I heard that album, sure, despite the fact that there's tour dates announced and all that, I did for an instant get that thought as well. I really did.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting whatever plays
I mean,
out.
you may hit the nail on the head that studio wise, they could sort of bow out at the end of this tour. Who knows? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
I think
Only Steve knows.
they've still got one more in them. But
I do as well personally. Yeah.
Look, from a creative point of view, they've potentially got 2-3 albums in them, but because I mean they've had 2 years, and imagine some of the material and ideas they've had in this time. I mean, they could record on and on, but as far as the music industry, as far as time, as far as their touring life, you sort of wonder. You sort of wonder whether this is the last album.
Yeah.
So look, that was a bit of a run through. Now, we really have to discuss the tour. They've announced an extra wad of dates in Canada and US and Europe even. And they're calling, this is going to be like the Legacy of the Beast and Senjutsu tour. My understanding is they're going to play 3 songs off Senjutsu.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Apparently so. But my question is, are we actually going to get ever a dedicated Senjutsu tour? So what is the purpose of doing an extended Legacy of the Beast tour? What is the purpose of doing, I think, 50 odd shows now? Why?
I think we've discussed this numerous times. Why couldn't they just knock the Legacy on the head and gone out with a completely new show? They've had time to prepare it.
I don't know. I'm surprised. I thought they'd honour half a dozen legacy shows or a dozen odd legacy shows in Europe that they have, and then actually go for a Senjutsu tour, a dedicated Senjutsu tour with a stage show. You would think it'd be one of those Japanese temples, and play 5, 6, 7 songs off the album.
Pagoda at the back of the stage.
Sorry?
a big pagoda at the back of the stage.
Yeah. No. I'm personally really surprised. I'm really surprised. I was expecting.
You know the way they did the Legacy tour. They did it in sections.
They did.
They did it in like sort of 3 sections.
Yeah, they did.
Now they can't make the show any longer by adding a 4th.
No.
So could they actually take one of those sections away and turn that into the Senjutsu section? And
that's been discussed
I don't know.
on the forum. Yeah.
Yes.
They take one of the sections out and do a Senjutsu section.
Like
they take certain songs out of each section and put one that goes with that, because it starts. It's war, religion and hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which they can cover all of that on
yeah.
Tracks new album. So
they could take out Where Eagles Dare and put a war song on.
I don't know.
Religious. Take out a Revelations. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, and put something else in, and take something out of the hell section and put something in there. So, or do they just add 3 more songs and do away with take the 3 encore songs out and do 3? I don't know.
I don't know. They're really hell bent on pushing this Legacy of the Beast again, even with a new album. I really was expecting.
Yeah, I thought that they'd do the Europe dates, and then the dates that they announced for North America and Mexico. I thought that would be the Senjutsu tour. So they surprised everybody, really.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting, a dedicated tour, and there was even talk of.
Well, I suppose, but the other side of it, you look at the other side. If they're going to add 3 songs from Senjutsu and continue with pretty much everything they've already got in the Legacy, that is pretty much saying goodbye when you think about it. Because
That's
they've
right.
covered their entire history.
Now this is sounding like a farewell tour. It really is. It looks like one. It sounds like one. I don't want it to be one, but it I don't know. It's an unusual thing to have a new album.
It is a tough one. But they call the shots, we don't.
I can't see it being a farewell tour.
No, it's not. It's fundamentally not. But
I think 2023 will get the Senjutsu tour. But obviously nearly 2 years after the album was released. But it's because what's going on at the moment, isn't it?
Of course.
It's what's been going on in the last nearly 2 years. So
of course,
this album should have come out, last year?
2020, yeah. I mean, at the shows that I was at in North America, I mean, Bruce would always say, "We've got some new music for you very, very soon." Okay.
Exactly.
And we know that these songs that we're listening to were recorded in March and April and part of May of 2019. So effectively, this album is it's not even a new album. I mean, it's new release wise, but what we're listening to is not a new album. It's 2.5, approaching 3 years old. So interesting times. Interesting
but,
times.
they like. They do everything on their own terms. They're not dictated by everybody.
Exactly.
Anybody. They do what they want to do and when they want to do it.
And
they've done that from day one, haven't they? That's it.
And that's why we love them very much. All right, good. I think that was a nice discussion, guys. That was a really good discussion.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
So we'll. Sorry.
Much enjoyed.
And we got the technology to work, which was a disaster at the start. So, all right, gang.
It didn't disappear once.
No, he didn't. No, it didn't disappear once.
No, you, Loopy, have been on the screen with clarity. Your voice has been shining through. It's a sight to behold, mate. It really.
And a new haircut.
Which one? Which hair?
I'll tell you what. I've got this new. Let everybody know why not. Early Christmas present is from my stepdaughter. It was a new hair and beard trimmer. So I did my beard yesterday. Day before yesterday. Needed to get that sorted out because it was like this. and my hair, I look like Doc Brown out of Back to the Future. So I decided to give that a go as well. And when I finished, I still got what I call aerials. One sticking up here and another one sticking up there. Doesn't matter how many times you go over it, this bloody hair just stays there. So I was in there this morning with a pair of scissors, just snipping off these last few little bits. But yeah.
Oh, you look great. You
look much more managed.
You look well. You look healthy, and it's great to see you today, mate. So, all right. Thanks everyone for joining in. We'll see you for the next one, as we always say.
And before we go, I'd just like to put it out there. Can everybody please subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the bell icon so you get all of our notifications.
Absolutely. And Loopy, could you do the honours and wish everyone a happy Christmas and a festive season?
I might.
You just did it, Kaz.
Yeah, I know, but it's got to come from Loopy. It's got to come from the statesman of the show, Loopy.
Okay, right. Everybody, have a great Christmas, a fantastic New Year, and we'll see you on the next one.
Stay safe, everyone. Enjoy time with your family. Stay safe. We will see you soon. Take care. Thanks for joining us, Paul. And you're going to be on with us. You're part of the 664 family now, so you're going to be with us. You'll be on the next one. So we'll see you for the next one, mate.
Okay, we look forward to it.
Okay.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Cheers. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.